It's hard. There we go, that's it. And you can do it so that you tap the ball that way and then back again. But I can't do that. Can't even do that one.
No, I don't know how I got into this really. Okay. Yeah. And now, I got into that, I don't know why, I was just messing about. Check this out. You ready? See if it works first time. I don't know. Oh, the table might be. Oh, hit. I really got into it in a big way, you know. Really loved it. What's great about juggling? Just feels great. The satisfaction of, you know, doing something that you've been trying to do and then finally doing it. It's a really big buzz. Yeah, it's just great being around other people who like the same thing that you like.
We'll take 3 balls. I'm going to start exactly the same way. Throw a ball from my right hand. When it gets about halfway, throw the ball from my left hand, catch this ball. And this is where it gets difficult. At the same time as you catch this ball, you throw the 3rd ball. So that looks like this. Make 3 throws and 3 catches. Once you can do that, you know how to do the cascade. It's just a matter of making more throws. So then you go 4 throws. I think it was 5. That was 5. Hey, I'm really learning this.
In a strange way, they opened up recently. You can only re-juggle tricks that have been written down 20, 30 years ago. But juggling's been around for maybe 1,000 years, or they say, you know, there are pictures in the Egyptian tombs of jugglers. So this is interesting that now, with everybody trading information very freely, you're seeing a lot of leaps and bounds in the circuit as well. It's very interesting.
Before I started, yes, I suppose I was like a lot of people who thought, oh no, I'm not going to start that. That would just take, I'm not going to spend God knows how many hours a day doing something that is so repetitive. It was supposed to be, yes, one of those mysterious arts. Someone had to be in a league with the devil to be able to manipulate so many props. That's basically my general kit of performing kit in that suitcase. Spare seat for a unicycle, depending whether you're teaching kids with short legs or teaching adults with longer legs. I first got involved by the previous tutor who'd been running it for 5 years before me and wanted to move on, and he just grabbed me and introduced me to the guy who ran the classes and says, this bloke can run them, and that was that. So, yeah, not a case of what you know, absolutely who you know. Jackson's Lane is a building that was converted from an old Victorian church. It's now run as a community centre with a heavy emphasis towards the performing arts. So they have dance classes and music classes and drumming classes and all sorts, and mine's one of their physical performance classes. I've been facilitating or running the Jackson's Lane Juggling Club for about since 94, so the last 9 years now. My job title is the tutor, but it's such a good practice space, and there's loads of people who come along who are way better than me, and I can't teach them anything anymore. But certainly for any newcomers who turn up at the class, I can get them started on anything, whether that's juggling, unicycling, tightrope walking, diablos, spinning plates, whatever it is, I can usually get them started.
I've been doing Diablo for since last summer. And first picked up a Diablo though 2.5 years ago. I've been doing it seriously for a year. But when I picked it up, I thought, yeah, cool, and then just left it for a year or something, and then just started to do it again. So I went to the balls and saw all the stuff there. It was really, really cool.
Well, I heard about Jackson's Lane, and it's near to where I live, but it's the best room in London to juggle in. That's what Sean Gandini said when he came. He said this is the best room in London to juggle in. I mean, it is good. I didn't actually go to a workshop until I'd been juggling for a year. It definitely is better when you're juggling with other people because of the energy. It's much easier to get into it because the energy there. But I juggle a lot on my own as well. And I don't know really. It's very satisfying and it's relatively effortless, and it's just gives variety to your juggling to be able to go onto the floor and into the air. You know, so you can juggle in the air and then juggle on the floor. I just think it makes your juggling more interesting if you can sometimes just let them bounce on the floor. I don't know, I'm surprised that more people don't do it from the point of view of it's quite satisfying because it is a bit easier than juggling in the air, so you do learn new patterns a little bit more quickly, so it's a bit more you get the payoff a little bit sooner.
Yeah, well, in a nutshell, when my daughter was 13, she decided she wanted to buy a unicycle. We went down to the local unicycle shop, as you do, and there we saw an advert for Jackson's Lane Circus Skills on Saturday afternoon. So she came along, so while I was waiting, I thought I'd learn to juggle. So I learned to juggle, and then she brought along her best friend.
Who was my daughter Alice.
And Alice and Giselle and Spencer, and then Alice thought that she better have her dad along, so he came along, and that's tutor. And my daughter went off to do trapeze, his daughter went off to Italy, and we're still juggling.
That's right.
And that's why we're here.
We did the club passing.
Yeah, we thought we'd specialise in something we had no chance of mastering.
That's right. That's right.
So, you know, because we're in here for the long game, aren't we?
They have to be able to juggle themselves first of all, okay? So they have to be able to juggle, and they have to be able to look through the pattern, okay? And if they can do that, they can pass. Is that right?
Absolutely. The difficulty level is really getting your mind around it.
I think there's two sorts of difficulty levels too. There's the difficulty levels where the actual passing is difficult, and then there's the brain teaser where it's counting is the problem. Because you know technically you can do it, but you keep throwing the wrong club at the wrong time.
Sure.
And they're good fun as well.
That's when you get into sort of fairly complicated passing patterns.
And they're particularly fun after a couple of beers at conventions about 11 o'clock at night.
Not only are they difficult, they then become completely impossible.
Well, only think you can do them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Optimism levels go up, skill levels drop.
Dramatically.
Yes, that's the great thing. Yes,
right.
That'll scare him. That'll scare him. That's too fast. Is that too fast? Okay, we'll try slow motion juggling. Hop.
That slow motion drop.
Yeah, I get a buzz out of it. I like passing. It's a laugh. Just the fact that you can blame someone else. No, just the fact that it's interactive. You're doing it with other people, and it's it's interactive. I get gone are the days where I practice on my own. When I first started juggling, I'd be out in my garden. I'd go to wherever. Yeah, passing's just social. That's what I like about it. I'm a founding member. Yeah, I started it. Yeah, I mean, it's literally just a case of turning up and opening the doors, as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't really take running. People turn up and do what they do. Obviously, if anyone wants a bit of help and I can give it, I will do, sort of thing, as presumably most of the other people that come. But when I first started, it was very busy, and you could tell that people like Alan, who's become a good friend, he turned up in the early days, and he knew more than me, which was great. And then Tim showed up a couple of years later, I guess, and he, you know, gave his energies into it, and I say it's taken off from them. It just goes up and down in terms of numbers, and because obviously, you know, the hall, it just sort of covers its costs, and hence we're still going.
It really is like ordinary stilts. You keep the bottoms under your feet, so it's like having really big shoes. This is like having extensions to your legs. It's because you actually extend your stride, whereas you don't in ordinary stilts, I guess. If I step with these, it's actually like putting my heel down and then moving to my toe, and it's like I'm actually reaching further. With ordinary stilts, you sort of put it there, and your ordinary stilts, you're like that all the time. It's like it would be like trying to walk on the heels of feet. That's exactly what it'd be like. Jeez. That's what ordinary stilt walking is like. That's horrible.
A really, really important thing at the beginning is input. If you see other people doing it and you're seeing it around you, you know, gathering with other people, you see the tricks that you might, I might like to have a go at that. It helps to inspire you. Fortunately, it doesn't cost a fortune to start a juggling club. In fact, juggling is one of the cheapest sports in the world. You can do it with 3 apples, 3 oranges. You need some props, well, not too many usually, only for the people who haven't yet learned. Nearly every juggler already has their own equipment, and if you started a juggling club, I'm sure you'll find a lot. All you have to do is hire a hall and tell everybody it's on, and let as many people know as possible.
There's all these different groups that sort of meld together, but there's no sort of sharp boundaries or dividing lines between them. It's all a big sort of melting pot that merges one into another, but in a very colourful way. London is definitely a city that draws people of every sort in. Yes, partly due to its size, but also partly due to its character, and it is just such a fabulously cosmopolitan, such a fabulously mixed city. It draws in everybody, and it draws in jugglers along with everybody else.
I think London is a fantastic place for any art, whether you play an instrument, paint, whatever your hobby is. There are more people doing it in London than almost anywhere else that you could probably go.
I came to it from a performer's point of view as an actor. There were a lot of people who came to it from circus, a lot of people from the travellers scene, and now more recently from the rave scene, from nightclub dance culture. Now, yes, there may be a core of people who are either local to that club, or maybe it's the people who set up and run that club who have those interests, but then that then attracts others because of those specialities and interests. Conventions, there's always a big general juggling hall at any convention, which has to be a main focus. It's where most of the people just turn up and juggle, and an awful lot of the skill sharing sort of just happens sort of wandering around the main sports hall, the main juggling hall, wherever that is. Jugglers like getting together, so I suppose people like getting together, so in that sense any convention is just a good excuse for a get together, isn't it?
Glasgow. It's the largest city in Scotland anyway, probably about 4 times the size of Edinburgh. First convention was last year. We had the European convention in Edinburgh a few years back, And after that, we wanted to keep a Scottish convention happening to keep the momentum going. So it became the 2.5-day convention. And when we repeated again this year, we managed to get Killing Park. And this year we landed double lucky because we got the Science Centre. Last year we had about 50 to 60. This year we're expecting 90 odds. So it's obviously grown. I think mainly it's grown is because of the reputation of the convention last year. One person said they were glad they came because only nice people came. And it was more of a party than a convention.
And now, on with the show. First off, a request to switch off all your mobile phones, or they'll be taken from you and smashed. Now, our first act.
To offset the outnumber of blokes to girls, we thought, let's invite the face painters along, that'll even things up. And also, the face painters complement the jugglers quite well.
There's reports been published saying the UV creams cause skin cancer.
Never heard about that.
That's what Charles was saying, he's a doctor.
UV is not supposed to be sold, but any brand has a UV line. Fadel, Krylan, Meron, they all have UV. So, well, maybe.
I'm not particularly worried.
Nearly. Oh. We'll try that again.
Oh, about 2 years, I think.
I've been unicycling about 5 years. Borrowed one off a mate at a juggling club for a weekend. Got hooked then, really, you know.
Yeah, my mum bought me one for a joke because I started teaching juggling and stuff, and she bought me a unicycle for a practical joke, and I learned how to ride it just to spite her. Sometimes you think about unicycles and you think about climbing on a unicycle. Well, Joe probably does anyway. But there's loads of people doing other stuff on unicycles, like riding them off road and things like that. It's more like mountain biking and stuff. But it's completely different from mountain biking in that you have to spend a shitload of time learning the skills rather than just like getting a bike with suspension and rolling over stuff.
A lot of things you can ride on a unicycle that you couldn't ride on a mountain bike as well.
Oh yeah, yeah.
All the jumps and rocky terrains and things you can get over on a unicycle.
Yeah. And where I live, there's nobody else that does it as well. Really.
Yeah, it's
so,
just.
So it makes me quite weird.
There's always something else to learn on it for the, personal challenge of there's always a new trick to learn. There's always new walls to try and jump off. There's always new walls to try and climb up.
Yeah, there's always new bruises to get.
Yeah.
These ones.
Those are all from unicycling.
Yeah. I'll show you my pedals as well. And it hurts. Yeah.
You got the short straw mix, you got all haggis in it.
I didn't get any Swedes or potatoes.
Apparently this is called neep, and this is called tatty.
That's Swedes.
Neep and tatty and haggis. So you kind of mix it together. Cheers. And it's not that bad. Whereas if I'd have played it like that, I'd run. I would run for the hills. What's the unique thing about the Scottish Juggling Convention, Andy? What do you think?
The unique thing?
Yeah.
When will you ever get haggis anywhere else?
It's Andy on stage.
I think the more important question.
Yeah, it's me on stage. You won't get me on stage anywhere else.
The more important question is why would you ever want haggis anywhere else?
Why would you ever want haggis?
It's good.
Why would you ever want to go anywhere else?
on-stage entertainment tonight, but Birmingham University Circus Society have been chuffed to bits to have you here, and we're really glad you came. We hope you enjoyed it. And to show our appreciation, we're prepared to entertain you in the pub. So if you just go up to a Birmingham University person and go, okay, that big guy said you'd entertain us, they will do a little trick or something for you. So that goes up until about 2 o'clock, and then it stops. All right, so get it all in before then. All right.
When I first started, I mean, I've been juggling for many years, but for the first 6 or 7 years, I never went to any juggling clubs or any juggling conventions. So when I first went to juggling conventions and stuff, people who were sort of working on who could juggle 5 balls and working on 5 clubs and things were really top level. Some people could juggle 7, like Sean Gandini was rumoured to be able to run 7 and things like that. But now anyone can do it. But then there's, like I say, there's all the juggling clubs which only ever meet in the local community centre, which they don't get to see any high skill level because they don't travel to conventions, they don't go to festivals and things like that, and they're not connected and they just don't see the. So yeah.
That's cool. I think it's meeting friends, actually.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, we've
Meeting
been going
friends.
for about 10 years and we know an awful lot of people there.
Yeah.
And you catch up.
Meeting people, learning new patterns, visiting a new place, a bit of exercise, learn some new stuff, make some progress and come home and drink a few beers.
Initially, when I first started juggling, it was because I really enjoyed learning new skills. So you've got the social side and the skill set side, and they both draw me. But I tend to find that I'm very much during the day when the juggling's going on, I'm very much I want to learn new skills and learn things. Then as soon as it gets to the evening, when okay that time's over, it's like right, social time now. I would say I still really enjoy learning new skills. I mean, the tray and the spoon and the cup. Someone showed me it this morning. I want to learn that, and I've spent quite a long time of today trying to get it to work.
Oh, come on, lad.
Job's good, huh? Not bad.
Liverpool is quite a strange town. It's had quite a bad reputation among the rest of England, but having lived here for 5 years, it doesn't seem to have lived up to that poor reputation. A lot of it is just a really nice town, people are nice. The Liverpool University Juggling Society, we are the only club in Merseyside, so it's a mixture of students and people who live in the city but come to the university club. Liverpool's got a restaurant stroke bar in the basement of a local theatre that we like to go to after the juggling hall closes, and the last couple of years we've done a renegade show in there.
I'm not doing it blind.
Yes, we were.
Does this hurt?
No. Woohoo! Right, okay, yes. Stage 1. Oh dear. Right, okay. Stage 2.
Are you dead yet?
I'm not dead yet. I am dying. Right, okay. So yes, that bit's easier that way around. We could stop there and do some very obvious gags. But to be honest, I can't be arsed.
I never juggled much with other people, so I just was dabbling on myself. And like half a year ago, I've been searching other people's up. At Zurich, we had a nice cultural place where we play everything, and I thought, good holiday trip, why not coming to Liverpool? You know, I paid the hour below, but then I saw this one wheel thing, and then first I was a little bit surprised, made this function, I tried out, and it worked after some trials. I had to do some trials, but then it worked. I could hold it spinning and stuff. Yeah, it just fascinated me, and I think there's a big potential. I imagine we just looked now at this Jackie Chan film, and I think you could imagine yourself an old Chinese guy doing this top thing rather hard.
Well, one-day conventions are very much organised as, right, it's on this day, everyone goes there for that day, they do the convention, and then they go home. When you get the multi-day, longer conventions, then you tend to get to a situation where, so they get to see a more of the social side of the juggling scene rather than just the skill set. Oh, someone's throwing something in the air, someone's catching something, someone's able to do something. They can actually see, oh, yeah, someone's doing something, but now they've stopped and I can talk to them and find out who they are, where they're from, what makes them tick. You know, maybe go and play a game or do something else, go for a pint, whatever.
Hello everybody! And welcome to the British Juggling Convention! Yeah! A very important point here. There is a big difference between professional circus people and non-professional circus people. And the difference is this. If you're not a real super cool circus person, then you're the sort of person who, when you'd have 5 pints of cider, you will piss up against the side of the tin. If you're a real circus person, you know what it smells like when 3,000 people piss up against your front door. You're laughing, it's true.
Oh, everything. It's a juggler's holiday. Imagine, whatever it is that you particularly enjoy at your local juggling club, we give for 4 days, and we give more of it. We give it 24 hours a day for a one-off fee. It's a chance to get together with 1,000 of your very best friends, some of whom you only see for 1 day a year. If it didn't happen, I would not know. My social circle would be tiny. My social circle now is immense. As for most of the jugglers, feel like I could go to almost any field, any town, any country in Europe and find a juggler that at some point I've met at a convention, find somewhere to stay, have a party. It's a wonderful way of living a life.
Yes. Oh, it's promising. Oh, we're moving. Great.
Oh, we're off. Well, that was bloody good timing, didn't it? You don't get better timing than that.
British Juggling Convention this year being held in Brighton. Those who up there are not jugglers, so you don't know what we're doing. We're down here, we don't know what we're doing either. These are, believe it or not, the very best jugglers in the UK. No, that's not true. Actually, these are the jugglers from the UK and from Europe and places as far away as America, Australia, who could actually make it down here this year. And we're now going to have the Games, which is rather like the Olympics, only we don't take it seriously. And it's basically, the whole thing is set up because a lot of this equipment they're using here, the jugglers buy it, it's very expensive stuff, and the traders come down here, they make a fortune selling gear to all of the jugglers. And so this is basically an exercise in product placement. We have fantastic prizes.
We get a very high proportion of experienced jugglers, but being a local event, we also get a lot of just people who are curious or the newer jugglers who do need the help. That's what we're here for. We don't have to push the products because they know what they want before they come to the stall. I just try and get them to buy more of them. So it's just, we just point them in the right direction for the equipment that's going to help them on the way. I think in most of juggling it's very much personal taste. And some people, you do get the gadget fanatics. You get people who just want everything and they buy because they haven't already got it. You use what feels right. If it feels right, it's the best there is. Doesn't matter how much it costs really. If you're comfortable with it, then it's good for you. It's the best thing for you.
Well, you go there and you've got all the boots and clubs and all the new things and the magic tricks, and you think, yeah, I'm going to have some of that. And you get out your credit card and you just buy. Yeah, I bought I bought magic coins. I bought magic 2p coins and something else. Bought some balloons. Bought a balloon pump, balloon book. It's just been sitting at home. I've done a few balloons and that's been it, you know, and probably spent, I don't know, not fortunes, but enough.
I came on here last night because I was over there a bit drunk, I wanted a beer, I've run out of beer, but I thought if I go on stage and do something I'll get more beer. And that applies tonight. If you want to do a show, you get free beer.
Renegade. Renegade is the birth child of a man called Tom Renegade out in the US. Renegade is a show that primarily should have only a location, should have only a site, there should be no acts. It's unstructured, it's unorganised, and anything can happen. We provide a tent, provide seating, sound and lighting, a technician and a compere. It's essentially a karaoke. It's a karaoke for jugglers, for magicians, for any idiot that wants to get up and demonstrate his latest skill, foolishness, or inability to do something. He can do it in front of 400 people. It's either the best show of somebody's life or the worst.
I've got baggy jeans on, baggy tracksuit on, so I'm not going under the leg, man. Sod that. Clown, I'm gonna catch my fucking trousers like.
Take your trousers off then.
Yeah. Yeah, I find it really difficult, as anyone would know who's done it. If you've got a bit of light, you know, you can see what's going on, but if you've literally only got the flames of the torches, you really can't see a thing, and it's difficult. But, so you have to concentrate on it so much, or I do personally, just to stand there and do doubles in the pitch black. So that's the buzz of fire. You just have to concentrate, because otherwise you know what happens.
Staged at all. Lovely crystals. I am the co-organiser of this convention with Andrew Wilson. The first one of its kind in Europe. There have been 2 contact juggling conventions before, they were both in Florida in the States, and me and Andy went to the first one, and it left us sufficiently inspired to just set a power on over this side of the water. Yeah. When a member of the public sees somebody juggling chainsaws, then they usually say like, why? But with contact juggling they'd say how, you know, how the heck are they doing that? It looks absolutely incredible, and it is quite mysterious. It looks impossible, like the ball just shouldn't glide around those places, around like all over your body. It combines elements of many different old, ancient, even art forms, like for instance dance, movement, tai chi, mime, even magic, and puts them all together into one art form. And what revolutionised contact juggling, I think, is the acrylic ball, because it's light, it's almost indestructible, and it's fairly cheap for what it is. So in that sense, it's not that old. It seemed that in the past, contact jugglers would spend their time at conventions trying to track each other down and saying, and it seemed a bit pointless. So me and Andy just thought, well, why don't we just say, okay, we're going to meet here at this time, this place, and we can really have a good contact juggling session. People here from Hungary, Sweden, the States, Canada. There was one guy who came all the way from Athens just for this, and yeah, it's amazing. It adds to the experience to have such a multicultural convention.
This kind of movement is easier. This movement, just I think it's easier to get this one than this one. With this one on the head, you never work this kind of movement in your life. So I use a hat to first during 1 year, and use it when I walk in a train, in a subway, and when I practice rollerblading, everything like this. And often you put the ball in the hat and learn the neck, the movement, the muscle work, and in fact you learn for your head all movement of balance. One time I was in London in the tube, and just I got it. I just feel the ball can stay on my head, and after 1 week I can keep the ball 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and now it's for a long time.
Two and a half teaspoons of caustic soda in lukewarm water. Fingers crossed, if you add a little bit of bacon foil, silver foil, a reaction should start and we should get some hydrogen, and it makes for a very explosive mix.
The whole point of being a jester in the first place was the tradition that comes down from the court jester was the very fact that you could say anything to the king and get away with it. And in a sense the clown still has that right, still has that prerogative of being able to say the outrageous thing or do the outrageous thing and get away with it. And that's part of the joy of it. I joined the agency called the Serious Road Trip in the summer of '94. And that summer I did a project. We travelled around a lot of the former Yugoslavia, Slovenia, Croatia and Bosnia. The summer of '94 was a lull in the war in Bosnia, and we went briefly into Bosnia to perform some shows. And since then I've continued. Now I usually do at least one project each year. Last year, for example, in working with refugee camps in Pakistan, we were touring all the refugee camps on the border in Pakistan, bordering Afghanistan, which contains 40,000 people in the middle of the desert. So you're 6 hours driving from the nearest decent city of any size. Except this is a city, but it doesn't have any of the sort of facilities. They've never even seen a television set. And we're a circus arrived. I mean, I'm totally self-contained circus. We don't need a big top, we don't need electricity, we don't need anything. We can just set up and perform in the middle of the desert. The response you get from the audience in that type of situation is incredible. And yes, it is designed for the kids, but when you turn up with a show there, you're the only show in town, so you could get an audience of several thousand people just stood in a circle around you in the middle of the desert. Now, it's probably some of the work I'm most proud of in terms of the circus shows we do. And it's fabulous to have a performance skill, a performance medium that works regardless of the language of the audience. Yes, we do use words in the show, we do use language, but we only need maybe less than half a dozen phrases, less than 20 words in total for the show we're doing, and for most tours we probably need to learn a new show. I mean, I end up sort of knowing odd words in odd languages. I know the word bald in about 6 different languages now, just because all the clowns are all totally shaved underneath the wigs. So when the wigs come off, we've all got bald heads underneath.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit, I mean, painting, it's like an escape, isn't it? And I'm into escapist activities, I think, very much. These things came to me long before I started juggling, because I had this plant with those berries on, they were red berries. It's funny how much they look like juggling, even before I started juggling. Maybe there is a connection between my painting and the juggling in that I want to see spherical objects arranged in front of me. When I'm juggling, they're moving, and I just want to see a mass of balls in my field of vision for some crazy reason.
Maybe relaxing is the wrong word. I think it's nice to have that focus for anything. When you're reading, like reading a book, that kind of focus is it's training your mind really. It's taught me a lot about how to learn other things. The way that I learned juggling and the way I push it around in my mind's eye and force myself to practice, because I know, I think that's taught me how to learn other things that I was, it's opened my eyes.
Oh, I suspect a huge number of people would think it's totally out of their reach. I certainly know people who say, oh, I can't do that. I certainly know people in workshops who say, I can't do that, as they're doing it. And you've taught them how to do it, and they are doing it, and they're saying, I can't do this. And you think, well, you are. So I know that if somebody has 2 working arms and hands, if they want to do it, and if they believe they can, and they're prepared to put in the effort to learning how to do it, they will be able to juggle 3 balls. You just have to want to do it, believe you can, and you will.
To be in a situation where you're like constantly trying to learn something is, well, it's staying young. It's what you were always doing as you were growing up, and it's just continuing that, keeping yourself alive.
Isn't the face lovely? Gorilla.
That's a trick.
It's like that. He bounce. Do that. Do them. There's 2 different versions. Wasn't there?